I'm getting the never-ending circle. There we go. Awesome. Recording's working today, so that's great. Welcome, everybody. Hopefully you had a good weekend. It's a Monday for sure. I just put in the chat there the NearPod link, or you can go to, like, of course, the join.nearpod.com. Today we're going to be talking about natural disasters, which is kind of a fun topic to talk about. It's never fun to be in a natural disaster, but they're kind of cool to see. It's amazing how the environment interacts with us and everything like that. So that's the part of geography we're going to work on today. So let me put that in the chat one more time for those of you that are just popping in here. Looks like I have 39, 40 participants now in here and only 39 on the NearPod. So hopefully you can join here quickly while I start to share my screen. All right. Okay, it's doing some really weird like thing that's annoying. Let's try to share my screen again. Hopefully it doesn't do that. There we go. Okay. All right, so I'm assuming if you want to put in the chat real quick, if you can see the screen, you're all good there. Good, awesome. Or those on camera, then give me a thumbs up. Sweet. Okay. All right, thanks. Okay. You can follow along as well. I do have like a recording under here of a voiceover. So if you, for those of you who cannot be on the NearPod, let's say, for example, you're on your phone attending this, and you can't be on the NearPod, I will have, as you'll see in the, let me go back to the course. So this is the course real quick. If you'll see on the class announcement board, I have the NearPod link where you can go to, and you can actually, so you can get your participation points. Okay, so if for some reason you can't log on now, you can do it later. Then I have the class recording right there. And once you go to the content, you have all the stuff that we need to do. So you should have done the pre-test already. You just get one chance at the pre-test because you're going to do the same test at the end. Hopefully you get better. Lesson 1 should be completed by now. I have the NearPod link here recording, and we have the quiz. And now we're starting on natural disasters right now. Okay, so let's talk about natural disasters. A couple things I need to go over. Of course, this is going to be recorded, this session. Just a little disclaimer there. Hopefully you're familiar with the virtual thing. Follow along, raise your hand. You know, if I don't figure out something. Oh, somebody said in the chat's February. Yeah, I can't believe it. Valentine's Day. Hopefully you'll get a Valentine pretty soon, right? Okay. Lesson 2. So this is what we're going to be looking at, okay? So giving a list of natural disasters, okay? So you're going to be able to choose a natural disaster, and you're actually going to do this on the OLS. You'll choose a natural disaster. You're going to research a current event from the natural disaster, and figure out when that natural disaster last occurred, okay? And you're going to just research it, okay? And tell me what happened. So that's what we're going to do. And I'll walk through how that's going to work, okay? Should be pretty easy. Okay, so what is a natural disaster is what we got to think of. So I'm going to have you guys put in here on the board, what is a natural disaster? No, there's nothing wrong being single. You're right. Okay, acid rain. I like that one. That's one that I have not heard of too much. So acid rain would be a natural disaster. Earthquakes, tornadoes, blizzards, floods, hurricanes, landslides, more hurricanes, sinkholes. Sinkholes is one that you don't get too often, but man, they eat up cars. I guess people, buildings, right? Volcanoes, volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, tsunamis. Yep, that's another good one. Tsunamis. That's something that really causes issues. Sandstorms. All right, that's one I haven't heard too often. Tornadoes, floods, earthquakes, lightning storms. Okay, very good. Natural events such as flood and earthquake. Perfect. That's a good definition right there. I like that. Extreme weather. Yep. Forest fires. Yeah, people don't think about forest fires, particularly like in California. If you live in an area where forest fires are quite prevalent. So okay, so here's kind of a definition for you. Okay, the world is always changing. Okay, natural disasters are changing, which are so great that it changes and damages the shape of the land or the lives of the people that are or things living in it. Okay, great changes happen deep inside the earth and on its surface. The changes on the outer part of the earth happen because of different kinds of weather. Okay, and certain things that happen, like the shifting of continental plates. Somebody said lightning, right? Lightning goes and can start a fire, which could burn miles and miles and miles. Okay. Okay. So, what are natural disasters? Some ones, and you guys, I think, mentioned all these before in your thing, but so somebody said, does it rain acid on Earth? Okay, so acid rain is actually caused. That's a good question. Acid rain is caused from pollutants that are put out. It puts up into the sky. It goes into the clouds, and that actually comes down and falls on different areas. Okay, some places in Europe that have been very highly polluted, areas far away, acid rain is actually hit, and it's actually disintegrated like bricks and stuff like that. So acid rain is, we got to watch how much pollutants we put in the air, but we need, to live, we put that pollutants in the air too. So it's kind of that whole, let's see here, one of the themes of geography, right, was human environment interaction. And that's what we're kind of talking about here. Okay. So we got earthquakes, cyclones and hurricanes, avalanches. I think I heard on the news today, which is kind of sad. I think some snowmobilers were caught in Utah in an avalanche, and they just pulled their bodies from there. So it was kind of a sad situation there. So avalanches, floods, drought, forest fires. So somebody says tornadoes are most fascinating. I agree. Like tornadoes are very, very fascinating of how they work. Okay, so you can play this on your end, and I'm going to try to play it on here and do it here. But here's a little preview of something, and you can answer a question that you're in there as well. So here we go. Hopefully you can hear it okay. All right, so playback from other website is, this isn't letting me play. That's great. Let me see if it'll let me do it in the student version. Hold on. Well, technical difficulties. Let's see if this will go now. I think the person who had it isn't letting us play it for some reason. Okay. Well, sorry guys. What I'll do is I'll send out those links. I'll put it in the thing. Yeah, new row is just unfortunate sometimes. But I'll put those links like in your course. So if you want to go back and watch them It's just a minute, 14 seconds. So apologize for that. Okay, so here are some things on here. So volcanoes, okay. Volcanic eruption is spurting out of gases and hot lava from an opening in the Earth's crust. Pressure from deep inside the Earth's forces, ashes, gas, and molten rocks come to the surface, okay. Okay, another one that's pretty common is an earth pimple. That's pretty funny, Jackson, actually. It's kind of true, right? Some of us have more than others, right? All right, earthquake. An earthquake is a violent shaking of the ground. Sometimes it is so strong the ground splits apart. When the parts of the earth are called plates move against each other, giant shock waves move upwards towards the surface, causing earthquakes. Okay, another one. So these ones are fairly similar. They have high pressure and low pressure, and when they kind of hit and go together, they cause cyclones, hurricanes, tornadoes, and typhoons. And some are kind of different depending on where you live of what they're called. But it's basically a fierce storm with winds that spin around in a giant circle. During a cyclone, trees can be uprooted, buildings can be destroyed, and cars and things can be wrecked up. So that's something that you can research as well when you're looking at doing your assignment. Okay, an avalanche. I kind of put this one in here because it's relevant to Utah. But an avalanche is the movement of snow and ice, rocks down a mountainside. I don't know. Has anybody ever been in the mountains when snow has kind of slid down and stuff like that has happened? Like when you're skiing or anything? I've had it happen. Luckily, it wasn't a lot of snow, but it's kind of scary. Just everything around you is kind of moving, and you're just sliding down there. So usually, if you go to like a ski resort, they actually use cannons and actually shoot things so that avalanches go before anybody is on there. But yeah, you got to be careful out there. So, but it can get up to 124 miles an hour. You're not going to outrun that, unfortunately. Okay, another one is flood. It's the cause of overflowing of water, which covers the land. Usually, I've seen quite a bit of flooding and stuff like that around like rivers and stuff like that. If you've lived in there, they can also cause mudslides and stuff like that. Okay, another one that people don't think about a lot is drought. Okay, so having a lack of water for a long period of time. So once somebody said in 1968, a drought began in Africa. Children during this year were 5 years old before they saw their first rainfall. Okay, so we're lucky that we have water available, but we got to make sure we have enough snowpack, through the years to keep that water coming. Another one, forest fires. California and Australia, actually fairly recently, right, was caused by a lot of damage of forest fires. And so that's something that really changes the aspect of things. And if you have dead, fallen areas and stuff like that, those either need to be cleaned up or it's going to catch on fire and you're going to have a lot of issues there. Okay, so hopefully this one will play. Playback on another website has been disabled by a video owner. It's not going to let us do this one either. Dang it. I was just going to show all the natural disasters that have happened in 2020, but I'm going to have to go back and see why they're not letting us do that. But anyways, I'll put that on like in your lesson here. I'll put those videos and stuff because it's pretty interesting. Um, actually, a natural disaster as well would be like the coronavirus. Okay, so that was something that was naturally mutated over time, and next thing you know, that oh, you can play it on your end. Awesome. Um, let me see. Let me go to the student one and see if it'll play that way. You can also. Oh, cool. Let me try the student. If I jump to the student side, if it will let me. Sometimes it lets me do that. Of course. I go to there and it says that slide's not supported. Let's see if I do teacher play. Okay, well, hopefully those that can watch it on your end. Oh, you're able to watch it, but it stopped. Okay. Well, I'm gonna add those to your lesson over here, and then hopefully I can find out sometime in the future. Because I like to watch little videos during the thing to kind of explain things. So, okay. So on here, what is the most recent natural disaster do you remember hearing about? Okay. California fires. Very good. And the thing is about natural disasters, they just happen all the time, right? Okay. Earthquake. Okay. Where was that at? The earthquake, tornado, the earthquake we're in. Okay. COVID. Yep. Australian brush fires, COVID fires. We have a lot of COVID, right? That seems to be what's talked about all the time right now. The Rona. It could be here in Utah, or it could be anywhere, right? You just heard on the news that something happened. Um, fires in the mountains. Okay. Oh, so there was an earthquake in Utah recently. I didn't realize that. You can actually go to like the geographic. I can't remember what it's called. The geological site, and it'll say. And we have actually earthquakes that happen all the time. Just a lot of them are not big enough for us to feel, right? Yeah, it was. Where was it at, and how big was it? I'm watching here on the chat. Yeah, because okay, eruptions, the earthquake in Utah. So somebody said they felt it and they were in Salt Lake City. Man, okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I mean, earthquakes and stuff, they're happening all the time, especially where we live on, like by a fault line. The epicenter was in Magna. Yeah, that seems to be a big area where a lot of that happens is that Magna area. So yeah, and make sure you're typing regular stuff on the chat, okay? Um, so you live in Kearns and you felt it. Okay. Yeah, it's a good time to kind of talk about it. Okay. So this is what your assignment is, okay? So you're going to choose one natural disaster. It could be anything that you want, right? Anything that we talked about, or if we missed one, something you didn't talk about. Indicate it where in the world maybe this natural disaster last happened, and at least 75 words describe what the natural disaster did to the environment of where it happened. So, for example, you can just go in and Google natural disasters, right? And you can just see what pops up. Or the earthquake that was in Utah, okay? And what did it do, right? Where did it happen at? Describe it to me, okay? And so that's where you're going to do it at. So if I jump over here, and it's going to be in lesson 2 quiz is what it's called, okay? And you will see it a little bit different than I have. You'll see the preview, but it's going to kind of look like this. You start the quiz. and you're going to do, which natural disaster am I going to research? Okay. So it could be anything, right? Okay. In which area of the world, right, did it happen? So if we were doing the earthquake, we just put in Magna, Utah. Or if it was something else, right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to just write in here 75 words of where it happened and how did it affect the environment, the people, and everything there. Okay. So that is our lesson for today and our assignment for today that we need to do, okay, for this week. So do you guys have any questions or anything like that about what needs to be done? I did want to put it a plug too that if you do need any help at 1:15, it should be on your calendar. We have a study hall if you need help with anything. It's due next Monday. Okay, I give you till next Monday to get it done. Okay, so you can procrastinate a little bit. I wouldn't procrastinate too much, but you can procrastinate a little bit to get that done. Okay. All right. Good questions, guys. Thanks everybody for joining me. And it's really all I got for you. So I wish those videos would have worked. I'll put those in the thing. Okay, see you next Monday. Appreciate everybody for coming. And I'll get those graded as soon as possible. I'll stop the recording now.